My first question is during your travel in Japan, did you have trouble with the language?
Uh, Language was a barrier, but I always tried to hold it in terms of like I'm in your country, so it's on me. So the Google Translate app was a really helpful tool, and once you kind of get used to that, there was no interaction I had with anybody that worked at a store or we needed directions from that was like, I'm not doing the Translate app. People seemed very open to it, so that helped out tremendously.
So I especially feel it at stations because it's so complicated that you have trouble, like not just the language, but finding destinations and looking at the price. Did you have trouble at stations?
Like a train station.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot to navigate. Once we finally figured out how to get a Suica card.
Right.
Suica. I wish I would have gotten the Suica card day one.
Yeah.
That would have,
Like
that
in
would
the
have-
Apple Wallet.
and you just open it up in the Apple Wallet
So
and
easy.
then boom, and everybody's doing it. So for
Yeah.
the first like 2 weeks, or 3 weeks,
Yeah.
we were doing the tickets and the pre-reservation for the tickets for the JR Rail Pass, which was awesome. But the subway system, this is the greatest subway system in the world.
And
I
once
don't
you
think
get
anything comes close to it.
Once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy. Like the
Yeah.
numbers and the letters,
Yeah.
the colors.
Yeah.
And like after a while, we like knew about which train we had to take without looking at our phones. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're from New York. Like
Yeah.
we're born and raised with like the subway system.
Right.
And like kind of navigating like the colors and the numbers and the trip. But here, the system is a little bit, it's way more complex and in depth.
Mm.
But once you get the patterns, it's seamless, it's smooth, best subways in the world.
Yeah.
Did you feel anything about the language barriers during your travel?
Yes, definitely. I know a lot of people say Japanese. There's a lot of people that speak English in Tokyo. Yes and no. It depends. I mean, of course, if you go to Starbucks, McDonald's, or like the real touristy places, yes. But if you even step a block outside, I really had difficulties. But of course, I had Google Translate, so there's nothing Google Translate can't help on.
I think if you don't speak Japanese, it might be difficult to make friends. But if you stay in the touristic areas and the big cities, every sign is in English, and for like relatively easy conversation, like in a restaurant, like I want this, I want that, I think it's okay. But maybe if you go to the countryside, it will be more difficult if you don't speak Japanese or a little bit.
Obviously, the biggest barrier is language, but my daughter lives in Singapore, but she also lived in Japan, so she does speak some Japanese and did very well for us, so we were happy.
Especially in my hotel, because most of people here talking like Japanese. I don't know Japanese. Only how do you guys say thank you?
Arigato.
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 Yes, it's the only thing. But I know I think so that Japanese people have too much effort to try to know or to talk with the foreign people because they have the Google Translate, and if they maybe know nothing about that, they say, could you please talk it? Expression. After that, they know. It's the only way we can communicate in my hotel. But very nice people, very friendly, very nice. They always try to help, but sometimes the barrier is the language. Yes.
So especially at a hotel, you had trouble with the language.
Maybe yes, maybe no. Depends how can I see the situation, because they have Google Translate. But in most of the parts here, the same thing. Doesn't matter if it's any shop, anything. It's only few. I think so in Kyoto, when we travel from here to Kyoto in the train, the announcement was in English too, like Japanese and English. like they say, yes, I'm arriving in 2 minutes or soon, something like that. The information for us was in English and Japan.